Rescue team saves brown horse from swarm of bees. The first sound was not the wind, nor the rustle of trees. It was deeper, a cry that shuddered through the air, somewhere between pain and exhaustion. The rescue team stopped the jeep at the edge of the field. A cloud of dust swirled behind them, then settled. The countryside was quiet again, too quiet for such a sound. They moved toward it, slow and alert, the tall grass brushing their boots. Then, beneath the pale shade of an acacia grove, they saw him. A brown horse lay on his side, half buried in the dirt. His body trembled in small, uneven motions. His nostrils flared, drawing short, ragged breaths that sounded wet and shallow. His coat, once sleek and deep like chestnut bark, was now speckled with dark patches, clusters of tiny insects clinging to his skin. Bees! A faint hum lingered in the air, rising and falling like heat waves. The rescuers froze. Hundreds of bees still moved restlessly around the horse's body, some crawling across his menere, others circling above him, a swarm scattered but not yet gone. Their aggression had dulled, replaced by confusion. The air smelled of crushed honeycomb and earth. The horse let out another sound, softer this time, a deep, broken moan that trembled through his whole frame. One leg jerked, then went still. One rescuer, his voice barely above a whisper, said, "We have to move slowly." They fetched a smoldering cloth from the truck. Smoke, gentle but steady, to calm what bees remained. The men waved it softly, creating a curtain of haze between themselves and the animal. Gradually, the hum lessened. The last bees lifted into the warm air and drifted toward the trees. The rescuers stepped closer. The horse's skin was swollen and blistered in places, his eyelids puffed almost shut. Flies gathered at the corners of his mouth, where foam had dried into pale streaks. The men knelt beside him, working quietly, pouring cool water over his neck and flanks. The water turned dark as it ran down, carrying away dust and venom. His breathing quickened, then steadied. His tail twitched weakly, a small sign, but enough. One rescuer placed a damp cloth over his eyes to shield them from the light. "Easy, easy, boy," he murmured, his tone more breath than words. The horse flinched at first, then went still again. His chest rose, shallow but rhythmic. Nearby, another rescuer prepared a mix of water and diluted antiseptic. The sting marks, though countless, were mostly surface wounds. Painful, yes, but survivable if infection didn't set in. The minutes stretched thin. Insects buzzed in the tall grass. The smoke thinned and drifted away. The horse blinked slowly, his lashes heavy, his breath rasping but less frantic now. The rescuers moved with patience, dabbing ointment, whispering quietly, their faces set in quiet focus. When they finally lifted his head slightly to help him drink, he obeyed without resistance. His lips trembled, then touched the rim of the tin bowl. A few gulps, then stillness again. The sun was beginning to sink, washing the grove in amber light. Shadows of bees flickered briefly across the date before vanishing into the distance. The rescuer stood over him, silent. The field felt heavy with the weight of what had almost been lost. One man finally spoke, voice low and certain. "He's not gone yet." The others nodded. The horse's flank rose again, slow, deliberate, defiant. In that quiet moment beneath the fading sun, the world seemed to hold its breath. Something fragile had survived the swarm. Night fell like a slow breath over the fields. The wind had quieted, and the grove stood still. Only the distant chirping of crickets marked the passage of time. In the shelter at the edge of the rescue outpost, the brown horse lay blanketed in rough cloth, his flanks rising and falling unevenly. The rescuers moved softly around him, speaking only when needed. One held a lantern near his head, the light trembling slightly in his hand. Another mixed an herbal paste, crushed turmeric, neem, and a touch of warm oil, the same remedy they'd used for cattle stings in the past. The air smelled faintly of smoke, medicine, and earth after rain. The horse's breathing rasped, but the rhythm had found steadiness. Every so often, he shuddered, a ripple of discomfort through his heavy body, then fell still again. His eyes, though swollen, flickered open from time to time, catching the light. They were dark, wide, and full of something wordless, pain, perhaps, but also endurance. One rescuer, an older man with sand-colored hair at his temples, knelt beside him. He dipped a cloth into cool water and ran it slowly along the horse's neck. Aram said, "Easy now," he murmured. His voice was barely audible, but the tone carried gentleness, not pity. The horse twitched at the touch, then exhaled deeply, the sound rough but alive. Outside, the world felt vast and quiet. The moon rose over the open land, pouring silver light through the wooden gaps of the stable. Moths circled the lantern. Time became slow and shapeless. For hours, the rescuers worked in silence, rinsing wounds, changing clothes, reapplying balm. One man poured water into a shallow tin bowl and placed it near the horse's muzzle. At first, nothing. Then a small, slow movement. The lips parted, a faint slurp. He drank, trembling but intent. They exchanged brief glances, hope wordless but real. Later in the night, as the air grew colder, one rescuer dozed against a wall. Another sat cross-legged beside the horse, humming quietly, the tune shapeless, meant only to fill the stillness. The horse's ear flicked. Then his tail gave a weak twitch. Tiny gestures, but alive with meaning. By midnight, the tremors had eased. His body had gone still, heavy with exhaustion rather than struggle. When the older rescuer lifted the lantern close, he saw the swelling had reduced along the neck and flanks, the angry red marks now pale, some barely visible beneath the sheen of ointment. He smiled faintly, his voice a whisper meant for no one in particular. His coming back. The horse stirred once, shifting his front leg as if testing strength. His hooves scraped softly against the floor. He let out a quiet breath, neither cry nor sigh, a sound that felt almost like surrendered peace. Outside, the night deepened, endless and dark, but calm. By dawn, the rescue would have sat through 12 hours of silence, watching life mend itself one breath at a time. But for now, in the soft pool of lantern light, the only thing that mattered was this, the slow return of rhythm, the quiet proof that something wild was still fighting to live. The wind moved through the open window, brushing the horse's menere. He didn't move away. And in that still night, surrounded by patience and care, healing began not with miracles, but with presence. Morning came soft and golden, spreading across the still land. The air was cool, smelling faintly of grass and dust. Inside the shelter, the horse stayed, first a twitch, then a tremor that rippled through his legs. His eyes blinked open, calm and alert. The rescuers rose quietly. One poured water into a bowl, another whispered, "Aram said, dust, try." Slowly, the horse pressed his hooves against the floor. His legs shook, the weight too much at first. But he did not stop. With a deep breath, he pushed again and stood. For a moment, the room fell completely silent except for the soft sound of his breathing. Sunlight slipped through the doorway, touching the line of his back. His coat, dulled by dust, caught a faint shimmer. The swelling had eased. The anger of the stings was gone, leaving only small pale marks. The rescuers stepped back. Their work was done. The door stood open to the fields, wide and bright, the same grove where the bees had once gathered. The horse turned toward it, nostrils flaring as he caught the wind. He took one step forward, then another, hooves tapping lightly against the earth. Outside, the land was alive again, birds calling, leaves shifting. The hive was quiet now, the swarm long gone. He paused at the edge of the field, lifted his head, and exhaled, a long, steady breath that seemed to empty the night from his body. Then, without hesitation, he walked on, slow and strong, disappearing into the light. The rescuers watched in silence. No one spoke. There was nothing to say. The horse was free again. And for the men who had kept watch through the dark, that was enough. A small, quiet miracle carried on the morning wind.